After spending the last 6 years making over $10 million in revenue from my Faces channels, posting over 500 plus real Faces videos that people actually want to watch across my 3 Faces channels that you can verify for yourself with the links below, gaining a combined 2.1 million subscribers, all the while I haven't written or edited a video myself in years. My channels are completely automated. After doing all of that, I've learned a ton, and looking back, there are so many things that I could have done that could have sped up my progress even more. I could have made more money, more impact, and most importantly, I could have had more peace of mind and happiness as I was doing it. So to help you achieve success 10 times easier and faster, here are 40 brutal truths when it comes to growing a faceless YouTube business that I wish I would have known from the start. Starting with lesson number 1, when I first got started, I was just copying the other channels that I liked. For example, I really liked Ram Stefan back then, so I was copying him a lot. And I thought to myself, if only I can make my videos like 5% better than Graham's, then I would get as many views as him. But after copying his videos and failing over and over and over again, I realized that that line of thinking just isn't true. Because even if I was able to make my videos 5% better than his, which is really hard as a beginner, people are already used to watching his videos. Why would they watch my videos from a completely new beginner? It was only until I literally sat down and I brainstormed how am I going to be different from all the other channels in my niche that I finally came up with the Tran channel idea. It was completely different. No one had ever seen videos like this before, so people only had me to go to. And from that moment on, I realized the importance of lesson number 1. It's that being different is better than being better. Lesson number 2, the human brain is designed only to survive. Throughout human history, the entire goal of your brain is to just keep you alive and not dying. And that's exactly why humans are completely okay with the slow boil of a 9-to-5 job. But you making a video that doesn't blow up on your very first try, the human brain really doesn't like that. You're gonna start doubting yourself, you're gonna start wondering if this is really for you, or maybe I should go back to my job that I hate. But if you understand that this is exactly what your brain should be telling you, that you should feel a little bit scared, then you know to keep pushing through until you get to that one video that changes your life. For me, it took 7 Faces videos before I had my first one to really blow up and change my life. For you, it might be different, but you have to make that decision in your mind if this is worth it or not. Are you willing to invest 7, 15, 20, 30 videos before you have one that changes your life? And that is lesson number 2, that feeling of doubt and discouragement that you feel, that is exactly the direction that you want to go in. Alright, for lesson number 3, check out this video that I posted on a channel that I was experimenting with. So this was a brand new channel, this was the first video on the channel, and as you can see right here, for the first like 30 days, this video got 162 views, which most people would consider a failure, a dud. After 2 months, the video barely gets 1,000 views. Still pretty much nothing in the grand scheme of things. But from that moment on, the YouTube algorithm started recommending this video to a wider and wider audience, from like 5,000 views to 7,000 views to 9,000 views, 10,000 views, and so on. And this video that I posted on a brand new channel, to this day, it still makes me around $300 every single month. As you can see right here, the last payout was $274. Here's one of the previous payouts on March 1st. The payout for this month was around $319. So what is lesson number 3? Well, it's that if you post a genuinely good video on YouTube, it might take a month or 2, but it can randomly blow up at any time. This is because when you post a new video on a new channel, YouTube doesn't know what your video is about, so it's gonna slowly test your video to different audiences to see which audience pool actually clicks on the video and watches it. And once it finds that audience, it starts to recommend that video to a wider and wider audience from there. So that's why this video did nothing for the first 2 months, but then started growing after that. And $300 per month for around just 21,000 views, that's pretty good, which brings us to lesson number 4, which is that you can make 10 times more money with 10 times less views. See, naturally, when we think of YouTube, we think about the really big viral creators like Mr. Beast or whatever that get hundreds of millions of views, but in reality, that's only a very tiny portion of YouTube. There are actually a ton of channels out there, and I'm friends with a lot of them, that get 10 times less views than me, while they make just as much money as me. Where the owner of the channel already has a product to sell, or maybe they're promoting an affiliate product, so their goal is actually to not go viral. And instead, their goal is to get super concentrated viewers that are in the market to buy their thing. They just make videos about the questions they have, and they get a ton of sales from the little views that they do get. So yeah, getting a lot of views is only one way to make money on YouTube. You can make a lot of money with a tiny amount of views. Lesson number 5, if you want to multiply your income on YouTube, you have to eventually start hiring people and outsourcing. The problem is, I'm sure you've seen a lot of big people on YouTube that you follow where they hire what I call a jack of all trades. They hire one magical person that can do everything. They can edit, they can write, they can make titles and thumbnails. And this is like the dream, to find a jack of all trades that can just do everything for you and replace you. But the problem with hiring a jack of all trades is that now, instead of your business being all dependent on you, your entire business is now dependent on this stranger. And like clockwork, every single time a big creator hires one of these jack of all trades, only one of two things happens. This person either eventually ends up quitting, or they eventually become a co-host on the channel and they demand profit share and equity, and it just gets really messy. So that was lesson number 5. You have to avoid the jack of all trades trap. And what do you want to do instead? Well, you want to follow lesson number 6, which is to be like Henry Ford. See, back then, building cars was really slow and expensive because car companies would hire jack of all trades. They would hire artisan mechanics that would put the car together all by themselves from scratch. So not only were these people really hard to find, hard to replace, but they cost a lot of money. But then one day, Henry Ford visits a slaughterhouse, a meat packing factory. And in there, he saw how they had a conveyor belt that would just, take the dead cow through a line, and each worker would just cut off like one piece of meat. It was super fast, super efficient. It didn't require super expensive, hard to find employees. And that is how Henry Ford came up with the idea for the assembly line. It made cars way cheaper, way more accessible to the mass public. And of course, it absolutely exploded his business. And that's what you gotta do with YouTube. To multiply your income and scale your Faceless channel, you don't wanna hire a single jack of all trades. You wanna hire one person for each role in the video creation process. You wanna have a dedicated writer, a dedicated audio editor, a video editor, a thumbnail designer, maybe even an idea person in the future. And even though it sounds like a lot, this is what I ended up doing, and it ended up being 10 times cheaper than everyone else. Which brings us to lesson number 7. When my business mentor first explained this to me, I tried hiring a video editor. So I found a video editor online, and literally all I told him was, hey, edit this part of the video. And that's all the instruction I gave it. How do you think that went? Of course it went awful, right? I didn't explain what I actually wanted. He couldn't read my mind. So he made a really bad edit. I got really frustrated, so I fired him right away. And I thought to myself, this person should know exactly what I want. I shouldn't have to explain anything to him. So I went back to my mentor and I told him what happened. And my mentor was like, no, Jake, this is your fault. And he went on to explain to me that instead of blaming the employee, you have to first blame your instructions. He told me that if you want to actually outsource affordably, like really dirt cheap, then you have to write instructions that are so thorough that as long as the person has like basic knowledge of video editing, they should be able to follow your instructions and output a quality Jake Tran video. That's how thorough the instructions have to be. It has to be like as thorough as an algorithm or like a piece of code. And when he explained it to me like that, it finally clicked. So I spent the next 12 months coming up with the most thorough instructions that I could possibly make for each part when it comes to making a Faceless video. And these instructions are called SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures. And from that moment on, my channels have been automated very affordably ever since. See, your SOPs are the foundation of scaling your income and your channel. You can hire the most expensive video editors, the most expensive thumbnail designers, the most expensive writers, but at the end of the day, they cannot read your mind. So if you don't give them super thorough instructions on every single little step, they're not going to do it right. They're not going to do it to your taste, and you're going to get super frustrated and your income is going to stay flat. This is why most channels will never be able to scale, because they're trying to hire people on a broken foundation and then expecting those people to read their mind. And that's why I give my actual SOPs that I use for my 50+ employees that I spent the last however many years refining and perfecting. I give all of these SOPs to my clients at Viral Profits so that they can skip all of this tedious work. So all they have to focus on is the actual ideas, like what their channel is about and what their videos are going to be about. And then I personally audit and approve their ideas so that they don't have to waste time on an idea that can't get any views. That way, your undivided attention and money only goes towards ideas that have the potential to grow your channel and your income super fast. That's why many of my clients go viral on their very first uploads. And if that interests you at all, I'll leave a link below where you can book a call with one of my personal advisors, and they'll walk you through the requirements to join, since I can't audit everyone's channel all at once. And that brings us to lesson number 8, another lesson from a different business tycoon. See, I was studying John D. Rockefeller, and one thing he said was that competition is a sin. And back then, I didn't fully understand what it meant, but it always stuck with me. But then I noticed something. Every single time I looked at my direct competitors and I got envious of their success or whatever, and I would try copying one of their videos, and never ended well. I never got as many views as that original video, and on top of that, I really wasn't happy either. It just made me not feel good. And that's when I realized what Rockefeller meant. Not only does competition inherently lead to zero profits, think like Amazon or Walmart, if you're in this mode of competing against other people, the profits literally go to zero. When you copy direct competitors in your niche, you will always be just another copycat channel in their shadow. So that is lesson number 8. Competition is a sin. You cannot let yourself get caught up in the cycle of competition. So how do you succeed without copying direct competitors? Well, that brings us to lesson number 9, is that you want to copy from other niches. See, the key to business is to be quote unquote innovative. And people throw around this word all the time, but no one ever explains what it means. But it's really simple. Being innovative simply means you doing something new that people haven't seen before. And there are 2 ways to be innovative. Number 1, you can actually discover something new or invent something new, or like discover a new particle or build a reusable rocket. That way is super hard. The easy way to be innovative is to simply copy from other industries or other niches. See, my channel became known for using movie scenes as B-roll, but little did people know that I just took this idea from the video essay niche. where people break down and analyze movies. But because no one in my niche had ever seen movie scenes used in videos before, I looked like a genius, everyone flocked to my channel felt super new and innovative. So that's lesson number 9, copy from other niches. Alright, lesson number 10. Once I had my first period of like super fast growth where I was gaining like tens of thousands of subscribers every few days, I foolishly thought that that period would last forever. So I made a lot of money, but I could have made a lot more money and a lot more progress if I just doubled down more. Because in reality, for every big channel out there, you go through periods of super fast growth and periods where you're kind of stagnating a little bit. Or maybe you're growing, but you're growing a lot slower. So that's lesson number 10. You gotta strike when the iron is hot. Alright, lesson number 11. Early in my journey of trying to make money, I read a business book where the author coined the term action faking. And action faking basically means you're doing stuff that may feel productive, but it doesn't actually make a difference in your progress at all. And when it comes to you growing your Faces business and growing your income, action faking is like worrying about setting up an LLC when you're not making any money yet, posting comments on other channels asking people to subscribe to you, setting up a website when you're not getting any views yet, setting up an Instagram when you're not getting any views yet. When in reality, the only thing that you should be doing is making better and better long form videos. Do not do anything else other than that. So that's lesson number 11, stop action faking. Alright, lesson number 12. If you're still on the fence on whether or not to like be on camera or to do it faceless and record your own voice, or maybe use an AI voice or a voiceover artist, just know that recording a voiceover is literally 100 times easier than being on camera. I have to record on-camera stuff for my other businesses and like podcasts and stuff, and you need all this equipment, you need to dress up, you need to make sure you look good, and thankfully this is not my main business because it is exhausting. I have friends who are traditional YouTubers where they have to show up on camera, and some of them have to take Adderall just to get through the filming because it's that draining. So that's lesson number 12, voiceovers are 100 times easier than recording yourself on camera. Lesson number 13, a lot of people will tell you to batch record, that you should record a bunch of videos all at once so that you save time and it's more efficient. This is horrible advice when you're first starting out. Because when you first start out, you're still finding your style, so you want to drastically improve and experiment with different stuff with every single upload. You as a beginner, batch recording 10 videos that are all the same because you did it all in one session is not going to help you at all. Because no matter how many times you upload a bad video, it's still going to be a bad video and it's not going to magically blow up. So as a beginner, you should take it one video at a time, and with every single upload, you should like reassess, think about what I could have done better, what I could improve with the next upload, and then you want to start on the next video with that clean state of mind. Once you have a style that works and is making money and getting views, that's when you want to batch record. So that's lesson number 13, do not batch record as a beginner. Alright, lesson number 14, watch this video.
Voice will cut through and the wind won't cause too much of a problem. The wind is blowing quite strong right now.
Alright, now watch this video.
They met 10 years ago and was still amazed that Jon Jones was still fighting, to which Jon Jones responded with, "I'm done."
Now, which one is unbearable? Which one can you not watch? The one with the bad audio, right? Even if you have the best video editing possible, if the audio isn't pleasant to listen to, like it's too loud, or the voice is too quiet, or there's random noises or whatever, humans can't take that for some reason. But if a video has okay video editing but good audio, people can watch through that and videos go viral all the time with that combination. So that's lesson number 14, audio is way more important than video. Alright, lesson number 15. Most people who want to start making YouTube videos, they hear the term edutainment and they go, well, that's what I'll do. But in their videos, they end up putting like 90% education, but only 10% entertainment. They just jam way too much information in there with no entertainment, and that does not work. Because think about it, why do people take out their phone and open up the YouTube app? It's usually not because they want to be educated. You are probably different if you watch this channel, which is awesome, but most people come on the platform to be entertained, not educated, or else every single college lecture will be super viral, but that is just not the case, right? So that is lesson number 15. Entertainment is more important than education, or what I like to call the 90-10 rule. Your video should be 90% entertainment and 10% education, or else you have to be okay with way less views. Alright, lesson number 16. One really common mistake that I see clients make is that they have a super cool video topic like jetpacks, for example, but in their actual script, they just write about it instead of showing it. Like, we have a really cool visual thing like jetpacks or something in Dubai or whatever, so we should show that stuff on the screen right from the start. Like, this is a military-grade jetpack that's being used right now. So when you're writing a video, you want to think about what you can show the viewer instead of what you can just write on the page. You want to put notes about cool clips that you can show on the screen, not just what you can write. So that's lesson number 16, show, don't just tell. Alright, Alright, lesson number 17. YouTube ads can make you a decent living, but multiple income streams is how you create actual generational wealth. If I solely relied on YouTube ads, I would have never been able to make the $10 million in revenue that I have made with my faceless channels. And there's a really high chance one day I get screwed in case like YouTube ads goes down or something like that. But with multiple income streams, your income is not only like doubled or tripled or 5x or 10x even, but your income is also a lot more robust, a lot more secure, a lot more stable, which I'm assuming is what you're after. So instead of just YouTube ads, you need sponsors, affiliates, your own products, and more. With my main Tran channel, I now have 7 income streams on this channel. I just set up a new one that I'll go over near the end of this video, but that is lesson number 17. You need multiple income streams off of your one channel. Alright, lesson number 18 is going to also sound very sacrilegious, but in the beginning, you do not want to be stressing over analytics. I know everyone talking about YouTube talks about like watch time and all these fancy analytics. So for this video on a channel that I'm not really associated with, this video only has 231 views. There's not much you can get off of these analytics, like the watch time or whatever, because the sample size is just too small. There's just not enough data to go off of. So that's lesson number 18. Don't worry about analytics where you're not getting many views yet. Just focus on making better and better videos. Alright, lesson number 19. I'm sure you've seen a lot of channels post like a poll where they ask you what thumbnail would you like to click on the most. These flat out do not work and they're just a waste of time. Because think about it, when a viewer is scrolling the homepage, they're in like this state where their brain is turned half off, they're kind of not paying attention. But when they're answering a poll, like what thumbnail would you click on the most? Then they get into this very analytical state that is not the same as when they're actually scrolling YouTube. So that's why you should not waste your time on doing these polls. Instead, what you gotta do is lesson number 19. You wanna turn your brain half off when you're reviewing thumbnails or whatever. Like when I review one of my videos or one of my titles and thumbnails, I turn my brain half off. I put myself in the same state as a real viewer would be in. And then I see if the title and thumbnail actually triggers the lizard part of my brain. All right, lesson number 20, the 50-50 rule. See, most beginners spend all their time making the actual video itself, but by the time they're done, they're so tired, they're so over it, they just wanna post the video already that they just rush through the title and thumbnail. They make a really bad one. They don't put any thought or effort into it at all. And then they wonder why their video bombs. When in reality, it should be 50-50. 50% of your time and effort should be spent on the title and thumbnail and the video idea only. And the other 50% should be on the video itself. Because YouTube is a two-step game. First, people have to actually click on your video first, and they judge that based off of the title and thumbnail. And then they actually have to watch the video all the way through. And that's why these days when I manage my channels, most of my effort is actually going into the packaging, the title, thumbnail, the video idea itself, which ties in nicely with lesson 21, which is you only want to have one central idea in the title. For example, one of my clients, he wanted to do a video where it will be titled "They Nuked Paradise" and then named a swimsuit after it. And I thought it was an okay first start, but the problem is there's 2 ideas in here, like they nuked paradise, then named a swimsuit after it. And when you have more than one idea in a title, it's just a lot of information for the viewer to process. And that's why most viral titles out there that you see get a lot of views, if you actually look at the titles themselves, there's usually only one central idea in them. Because if the viewer has to think at all in order to understand what your video is about, they've already scrolled past it. So instead, I helped him come up with a different title that I'm not gonna say just because he hasn't posted the video yet. But yeah, we naturally think that if we jam more stuff into the title, it will make it more attractive, but it's actually quite the opposite. It has to be really easy to understand and be emotional, and typically you achieve that by having less stuff. And the same goes with the thumbnail. Check out these 2 thumbnails. What do you think about them? Do they look like a really viral thumbnail that you would click on? Probably not, right? Something feels a little bit off about them, right? I mean, the graphics do look really high quality and high def, but it still feels a little off. Why is that? Well, this is another client of mine, and he is making another really common beginner mistake when it comes to thumbnails, just like the title, where he's just jamming way too much stuff into the thumbnail in hopes that it will make it more attractive. Like there's more stuff in the thumbnail for people to look at. But once again, it's quite the opposite. If you look at all the viral thumbnails out there, they usually only have a mass of like 3 objects in the thumbnail. There's usually not more than that. But here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects. There's just way too much stuff to look at. My eyes don't know where to go. I don't really know what to make out of this. So that is lesson number 22. More is not better in the thumbnail. Alright, for lesson 23, check out this old video of mine. It made $3.4 thousand. It got around 500,000 views, which is pretty good. But if you look at the actual chart, there's something interesting. Over here, the video got stuck at around 150,000 views. Like, it just couldn't get any more views. But then, out of the blue, right here, the video like tripled in views from like around 150, 160k views all the way up to 470,000 views to this day. And when it comes to how much money it made, right here, it was stuck at around $1,000. But once it had this big jump, I like tripled my money to over $3.4 thousand. So what happened right here? What happened was I had posted this video with a pretty bad title and thumbnail. Like, I think I was just lazy with this one. So the video was not doing very well. So I went back, I came up with a better title and thumbnail, this one. And because this is so much better, YouTube started recommending it to more people. They saw that more people were clicking on it, so they kept recommending it. And that's how I more than tripled my money on the exact same video, all because I just spent a few minutes coming up with a better title and thumbnail. So that's lesson number 23. You can revive a dead video and make way more money just by improving the title and thumbnail. All right, lesson number 24. What's the number one piece of advice that you hear when it comes to like how to make it on YouTube? You just have to be consistent, right? Consistency. But lesson number 24 that I learned is that consistency is a lie. See, the truth is that consistency is only the ticket into the game. Of course, you have to be consistent in the beginning, but consistency alone is just simply not enough. Think about it this way. If you just keep posting the same bad video over and over and over again, and you don't change anything about it, because you just bought into this myth that as long as I'm consistent, I'll magically blow up one day, you're going to be sadly mistaken and you would have wasted years of your life potentially. So the key is you have to be consistent is the ticket into the game, but you also have to do something drastically different. Just like what we talked about earlier, being different is better than being better. And on top of that, when it comes to the actual YouTube algorithm itself, consistency actually doesn't matter that much. See, there are faceless channels out there like this one that posts once every 3 months, 4 months. Like in this case, he hasn't posted in a year. And yet without a doubt, every single upload gets millions upon millions of views. For example, last year, he only posted 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And one of them was just a Q&A video. The year before that, he only posted 1, 2, 3 times again. So around 1 video every 4 months. So that just shows the reality of the YouTube algorithm. They care about you posting a good video, not you posting every Sunday exactly at 9 a.m. And that brings us nicely into lesson 25. Last year, Spotify had reached out to me with a really good offer. All I had to do was just repost my videos onto Spotify because they were pushing their video podcast feature. And then I would have to make like a square thumbnail for Spotify because their thumbnails are square. And they promised they will push my videos on Spotify for free. Like free promotion, free banner ads on the homepage on the app. Like imagine if YouTube just came to you and said they were gonna push your videos for free. Literally all I had to do was assign a video editor and like a thumbnail designer to it. But I just procrastinated and I didn't do it for some reason. Well, what do you know? A month goes by, the Spotify team isn't hearing back from me. I finally get to it. I finally assign the video editor and the thumbnail designer to it. And then I reach back out to them and what do you know? They're not interested anymore. And I just missed out on a really good opportunity to make a lot more money. See, I read the saying money loves speed in a business book years before, but I didn't understand what it meant back then. But now I finally did. So that's lesson number 25, money loves speed. This means that when an opportunity comes your way, you have to literally act on it today, not tomorrow, not next week, because by next week, the opportunity might not be as hot anymore. People might have lost interest. So whenever a good opportunity comes your way, you want to act right now in this moment. All right, lesson number 26. One of the reasons why my channel's Evil Food Supply and How to Get Away with It blew up so quickly on the very first upload and made me a full-time income on the very first upload is because of what's called a pattern interrupt. See, when you look at the name Evil Food Supply, you see that on the homepage or whatever, it makes you do a double take. Like Evil Food Supply, that's a very different, unorthodox name. Same thing with How to Get Away with It. When you see this on the homepage, it makes you do a double take. And this is lesson number 26. You want to use pattern interrupts. You want to use them whenever you can, especially in the title thumbnail, especially in the video itself. When I first came up with my channel, no one was really doing how to commit crime videos. So it was an instant pattern interrupt and it grew super fast. All right, lesson number 27. Once my videos started really blowing up on like evil businesses and how to commit crime and stuff, everyone on YouTube started copying me. Everyone started using my laser eyes in their thumbnails. And at first I was so frustrated, like everyone's copying me and making money off of my idea. This isn't fair. And I didn't find any peace until I finally accepted that this is just a natural part of the game. Someone comes up with a new trend, that person grows the most, everyone starts copying them and they get a little bit of growth, but never as much growth as the original person. None of them are as big or as successful well as my channels, because just like I mentioned earlier, when you copy someone, you're inherently putting yourself in their shadow forever. Which brings us to lesson number 28, which is that you have to be prepared to change. As you find a great channel idea or you start a new trend or whatever, people will start copying you, and eventually those evil business videos will start to get saturated and viewers will start to get tired of that video style. This was another really painful part of my journey, was accepting that I had to change and evolve. But if you get to this point, you definitely have everything it takes to evolve and change. And it's not like a difficult thing, it's more of a mental thing that you have to get there. Alright, lesson number 29. Something I've noticed over the past year as I'm scrolling through the homepage of YouTube is that YouTube is starting to recommend me so many videos from channels that have like 500 views or whatever, more than ever before. These are like brand new channels with barely any views getting recommended on YouTube's most prime piece of real estate, the homepage. And this is because YouTube is in super desperate need of good content right now. See, we hear these stats about how much content is uploaded on YouTube every single day, but the fact of the matter is most of that content is absolute trash. Most of these people uploading on YouTube don't treat it like a real business, which is why if you get into this, there's actually not that much competition if you think about it. That's why if you post a genuinely good video, just like we saw earlier, it will eventually blow up. YouTube is growing every single year, and that is lesson number 29. There's way more demand on YouTube right now than there is supply. Alright, lesson number 30. Much like that action faking lesson, you do not want to try other forms of content right now. Long form videos by far pay the most. You build the most trust with the audience. The audience gets the most value out of long form videos instead of like Instagram posts or TikTok videos. And that's why long form videos will always be king. So when you're first starting out, do not try to focus on YouTube Shorts at the same time, or Instagram Reels, or Instagram posts, or TikToks, or email newsletters, or whatever. All you gotta do is focus on your one thing, which is making better and better long form faceless videos. There's a reason why after all these years, my main focus is still on long form videos. Sure, Even Food Supply has its own newsletter, but I have a team now. This is all automated. I don't have to touch it at all. And I only did this after we started making a lot of money. Lesson 31 is kind of similar, and it's that you do not want to try to cross promote. I know it's really tempting to want to like make a short that promotes your long form video, or make an Instagram post or Instagram reel that promotes your long form video, or build a newsletter and send out emails about your new videos coming out. But in reality, what I've learned the hard way is that when people open up their email, they're in the mood to read emails. They're not in the mood to watch a long form video. When people open up Instagram, they're in the mood to watch reels or see like photo carousels or whatever. They're not in the mood to watch a long form YouTube video. So that's why when you do these cross promotions, usually the conversion rate is not high at all, towards not worth your time at all. Lesson number 32, you want to do your deepest work as early in the day as possible. See, I view willpower as a battery. At the start of the day, you have 100% willpower. As the day goes on, you get less and less willpower. And by the end of the day, it's really hard to motivate yourself to do anything. Like you just want to chill and relax after a hard day's work. So that's why if you can, you want to work on scaling your income as early in the day as possible and do all the maintenance stuff and chores and whatever later on when you have less willpower. This is what I've done since the start of my journey, and it's been like instrumental to my success. For some of you, it might be a little bit harder if you have a job. So just try your best to either wake up earlier or do it right when you get home while you still have some willpower left. Lesson number 33 is an interesting one. It's that starting a channel in a different language other than English might even be easier. Let me show you what I mean. So I just launched this channel, Tran V. As you can guess, it's the same channel but in just Vietnamese. And after just 7 days after posting our first video, we're already at 2.39 thousand subscribers. The first video has 39,000 views. The second video has 53,000 views after just 3 days. And we just posted a video like 30 minutes ago. So that means we got monetized in 7 days, which is definitely a new record for me. 8.3 thousand watch hours. So it's been really crazy. It's way exceeded my expectations. But why is this the case? Why was this channel able to go so fast in a different language? And why was this client of mine able to get 165,000 views on its very first upload on a channel that's in Arabic? Well, I've come to learn that all these other languages on YouTube, they're like a good 5 to 10 years behind the English channels. Most of these other languages like Vietnamese have almost no good content for the people to watch, like no high quality videos, definitely no videos of the quality of mine. So they are just in desperate need right now of good content to watch. And that's why this channel blew up so much, so quickly, right away, and got monetized in literally 7 days. Another good way to look at it is if you look at all the new billionaires that are minted that didn't get their money from inheritance, a lot of them come from third world countries. This is because in third world countries, it's way more underdeveloped, there's way less competition. So if you have the right framework to follow, you can just like swoop up all the market share right away really fast. So that's why these language channels are growing super fast. If you want a video breaking down my other language channels, let me know. I'll I'll make one in the future. Is the CPM of the Vietnamese channel going to be way less? Of course. But if you have eyeballs and you follow that other lesson where you're not only relying on YouTube ads and you sell some kind of products, you can still make a ton of money. All right, lesson number 34. If you want to make a video on a topic that has been covered a lot on YouTube already, you definitely can, but you have to find a different angle. Here's a bad example of that. So this video really blew up a few years ago. The orphan boy who created Rolex, 4.8 million views, really good. But then if you scroll down, this video copy with 200 views, 55 views on another copy, 12,000 views on another copy, 900 views, and the list just literally goes on and on. It's endless. I don't know who's doing this. I'm assuming it's some course seller telling people to copy this video. So yeah, this is exactly what you don't want to do. Don't fall for this. And what you should do instead is, if you want to cover a video that's already been covered on YouTube a lot, well, you want to do what I did right here. So before, I already made a video on Jeffrey Epstein, but I wanted to make another video on him just to spread more awareness about this topic. So I couldn't just make another general overview video because people had already seen that. So instead, I made a video focusing on how he made his initial money through like a Ponzi scheme. So that's what this video is about. It focuses only on how he made his first money through this financial Ponzi scheme thing. So same overall video subject about Epstein, but a completely different angle. So that's why this video still did really well, a little over 680,000 views. Lesson number 35, you can use as much AI as you want. You should use as much AI as possible to make your life easier and cheaper, but the audience should not be able to tell that it's AI. Right now, AI images and those, AI slot videos, they're perceived as low quality. You're not going to get sponsors from it. You're not going to be able to sell stuff to your audience. So yeah, use as much AI as you can, but the audience should not be able to tell that it's AI. All right, lesson number 36 is that age does not matter when it comes to faceless content. For like traditional YouTubers where they're screaming on camera, age definitely plays more of a role in that, but there's definitely like older, traditional YouTubers out there. But especially when it comes to faceless channels, age does not matter at all. And probably the best example of this is this channel right here. I'm super proud of this client. On his second ever upload is at 82,000 views. His next upload also has 82K views. His new video is gaining traction right now. His first upload has 23,000 views. And guess what? This client, he is 48 years old. He also came from Vietnam just like me when he was really poor. At 48 years old, he doesn't work a creative job at all. He works a very normal, respectable profession. And yeah, he was still able to do all this and literally find success on his second ever upload, which is even faster than it took me. All right, lesson number 37. As you're making your first videos, you have to understand that the people around you, your friends and family, they're not going to understand you. They might think you're weird. They might say that you should stay in your lane, or they might think that in the back of their head. I absolutely had to deal with this for myself, from my mom, from the people around me. So if that's something you're worried about, I want you to take a look at this image that I came across Instagram recently. An athlete won't judge you for working out. A millionaire won't judge you for starting a business. A musician won't judge you for trying to write a song. It's always the people that are going nowhere that have something to say. And with that said, let's move on to lesson number 38, which is that it is absolutely possible for you to grow super fast as long as you pick the right channel idea. When it comes to this student who's like 48, this channel idea, no one was really making videos about, Michelin and fine dining and all that stuff. And that's why this channel grew super fast, because this is a pretty big niche that no one was making videos for before. And now he's already monetized, making YouTube ad money, and he's even getting his first sponsor right now. He's like literally editing the video right now. So yes, it is possible to skip those years of like posting and nothing happening. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they either don't know what they're talking about or they're lying. All right, moving on to lesson number 39 is that creating a channel that can earn $100,000 per month is not 10 times harder than creating a channel that can earn a max of $10,000 per month. Let me repeat that again. Making a channel that can earn $100,000 per month is not 10 times harder than making a channel that earns $10,000 per month. Because with both channels, you're still gonna have to worry about the channel idea. You're still gonna have to get videos made. You're still gonna have to worry about the title, thumbnail, etc. So if that's the case, if it takes around the same amount of mental space and mental effort to create a really rich channel versus a really mediocre channel, why would you choose to make a mediocre channel? Why would you choose one of these AI slot, top 10 channel, meditation channel things that people shill, when you can just find a channel idea like this that can grow really fast right away, and you can get sponsors, and you can sell products, and you can do all these other income streams to make you $100K a month? Because the reality is, in this world, for some reason or another, whatever goal you set, you tend to limit yourself to that goal. If your goal is to only make 10K a month and just get by, you will probably eventually get that goal. If you make it the goal from right now to eventually build a channel that can make $100,000 per month, you're naturally going to make the decisions necessary to choose a channel idea that has the potential to make $100K per month. Which brings us to lesson number 40, and that is there will always be an endless amount of channel ideas out there. Channel ideas that can go as fast and as big as Tran, as Evil Food Supply, as this client of mine, they're all out there right now just waiting for you to discover them. Even today, I constantly come across new channel ideas just because I know what to look for. And the reason why there will always be more channel ideas, the reason why it will never be too crowded is because one, like we mentioned earlier, there's way more demand than there is actual supply. Two, the market is always changing. Like for example, with Evil Food Supply, I made this because I saw alternative health really blowing up. And as of right now, there's probably like 100 other trends that are going up like this that you could also make a channel about. Number three, there are so many other sub niches that haven't been fulfilled yet, just like this fine dining sub niche that, you know, there's a lot of people that are into fine dining, but for some reason, no one thought about starting a channel in that. Another faceless niche that I'm really bullish about right now is actually videos about religion, like a channel about Christian teachings or Islamic teachings, because maybe you've also noticed that religion is kind of like on the upswing right now. A lot of people are talking about it, but even in niches that seem overcrowded right now, everyone in that niche follows each other like a herd. Humans have this herd mentality where we just kind of copy each other, like copy direct competitors. And because everyone in a niche tends to do the exact same thing, there is always a gap that you can fill. And I break down what this means and how to like find a gap to fill in the market in this video that you can watch right here. I really like this video. It's really valuable. You're gonna love it if you like this one. So I'll see you later.